all make choices. But in the end, our choices make us. So choose wisely. Subscribe to It's Erik Nagel wherever podcasts are found. And leave a positive review, won't you kindly? It's Erik Nagel. And it starts now.
What up, my Nagel? 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 Talking about George R.R. Martin, not writing. Talking Marvel vs. DC, who's more exciting? Talking George Lucas's legacy, high-scoring centipede. Talking Gittles' new beef burrito recipe. Talking about Stephanie McMahon versus Sable. Talking about the Cybermen versus the Weeping Angels. Don't blink, the dialect's more deadly than you think. Talking summer ale, blueberry pale, craft beer, pouring drinks. What up, my Nagel? Deadpool 2 features Cable. Talking Funko Pop, celebrity signed a label. Talking online gaming, bitchin' and complaining. Talking E-Rock, kissing the feet of Matt Groening. Warner Brothers properties, Superman's a mockery. Weird Al concerts, Kevin Smith's debauchery. Rick and Morty fun zone. The Lego build team, can I have your attention? Possible Donkey Kong kill screen. What up, my Nagel? What up, my Nagel? What up, my Nagel? What up, my Nagel?
Ladies and gentlemen of the universe, the next voice you hear.
It's Erik Nagel.
Hello, welcome to It's Erik Nagel. That is me. Doing things a little different this time around, but everybody is present and accounted for as we test out Matt OG's new studio. So he's in Upside Down 2.
Yeah.
Electric
Boogaloo. Man, you really worked on that name.
Educated.
Yeah, you cranked for like 3 seconds on that one.
I had no idea what to call it. But Matt's over there. All right, Matt's over in the left Twix area, and Giddles is over in the right Twix area.
Ooh, sweet. No one shares the right Twix.
Right. And then Trevor's sitting in front of me.
Hi.
Maybe anxious and awaiting to jump into some kind of conversation. Welcome to the program. A few things of note before we get into any kind of topicality. The 4-year anniversary of our show is here.
Yeah, congratulations, guys.
So the special edition 4th anniversary show that Matt and I put together is up, available wherever you get your shows, preferably iTunes and iHeartRadio, but it's all there. Also up on YouTube. Got to get into this a little bit too, but I was reading up about breakdowns for digital programming.
Okay.
A lot more people are listening to shows by streaming it on their computer rather than downloading it to a device. And I thought it would be the other way around. I thought you'd be listening to it in your phone, and when you're at the gym or driving around doing whatever you're doing, that you have it in your phone, and more people are sitting there at their computers at work and streaming it that way instead.
Yeah, because during the day, like a lot of these places, you can't do the radio thing anymore, or like there's bad signal, or they don't like you playing the music over the speakers. So, like when I saw you on Anthony, I just put you on YouTube at work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, too, because sometimes people have like the apps on their phone, and if you're at work, people will look down on you if you have your phone plugged in versus just being plugged into your computer, where you could have YouTube going in the background and no one knows.
Right. Yeah. So I have a hard time watching stuff at work on my phone because you're right. People kind of give you the side eye. Although for some reason they throttle my Twitch is okay. YouTube is okay. Alpha is okay. Netflix, I can't do Netflix though. So what I've been doing is I've been downloading stuff direct to my phone from Netflix.
Oh, nice.
And like sneak watching it.
I got really bad bowels today. Got to go to the bathroom. What happened in Luke Cage?
But that's for watching programs. I'm talking about like just like audiobooks and podcast style content.
Yeah, like I put you on YouTube that time and just minimized the screen, and I just went back to work.
That's where I was surprised. Like what Matt's talking about definitely makes sense. Yeah. But I'm saying like if you're downloading a podcast or a radio show on demand or audiobooks, that's where I'm talking about. Like where I assumed more people were listening to it on their phone, their iPad, some kind of device, so they can take it with them while they do things. And research has been showing more and more that people, for just audio-based programming, are doing it on their computer at work or at home rather than on the convenience of a device. That's what I found surprising.
Because I think what happens is you have to pick and choose what you're doing. So if you only have a half an hour commute, it might not make sense to put on a 2-hour show.
Right.
I think that's one thing too. And I have 2 screens at work. So and like no one looks at me.
Fancy guy. Yeah, 2 screens.
But
holy shit!
I face a corner where no one can see what I'm doing. So like I could put something up and watch Netflix or something, and then quickly minimize it. A lot of these people are in cubicles, and people are walking behind them. So like they said, they just put something on and then they minimize, and it looks like they're working when really they're listening to Matt.
Yeah, for me, like I don't listen to any podcasts. I don't download any of them. I just go to the website and listen to it. If I want to listen to How Did This Get Made, I go to the Earwolf website. If I want to listen to Harmontown, I go to the Harmontown website. If I want to listen to this, I just talk about it every Thursday.
Podcasts I listen to on my phone. Video I don't do on my phone. Podcasts I still do on my phone. Critical Role I do on my phone because I download it from the YouTube app, so I can break it up into chunks.
Right.
So anything else I watch on my PC.
See that I'm surprised that I'm the exception to the rule because I download everything to my phone, podcasts, radio shows, whatever, books, audiobooks. I download to my phone because I use that with my Bluetooth headphones while I go and I do everything else. I don't sit there at the computer.
Yeah, those headphones never leave your body though. I realize.
No, they don't.
Eric,
part of him.
You for 4 years and known you for much longer. I find you're always the exception. So
yeah, seriously.
So, all right, if I think it's normal, it's not to the rest of the world. Got it.
That's correct.
Now I know the equation of how to live life.
Very correct.
That's depressing.
I know. Because the best part is you pause and everyone's like, "No, Eric, you're fine." Not one of us said that.
There wasn't even crickets. The crickets were like, I agree.
Crickets are like, fuck this, I need a beer.
All right, moving on to
God, so do I.
some, not some happy news, unfortunately, but right before we started doing this show, whenever you're listening, obviously anything we're talking about at this point is going to be old news, and you'll have more updated information.
Not if they download it on their phone.
But this is not the time for the joke. The shooting that just happened in Annapolis, going into the what is it, something Gazette?
Yeah, it's like the Annapolis Gazette, I believe.
Yeah, the big newspaper down there, where at the time that we're doing this show, the information is that somebody walked in and opened fire in the office there, killing 5 people, and then one particular periodical quoted gravely injured, half a dozen more, and that the shooter is in custody. Nothing else is known about this at this particular time, again, that we're discussing this. There's been other comments of people, tasteless comments out there on social media that have been getting highlighted for some reason, where some people who are of a more conservative nature saying that these people got what was coming to them. And how can you say, no matter what side you lean on, how can you say that anybody deserved this when you're working at an office that you go to every day and somebody just comes in and open fire? Nobody deserves that, no matter what your political leaning is.
Yeah, it's crazy. I have a friend who works for New York Times, and as soon as this happened, he took a picture because the NYPD immediately sent armed guards to the New York Times and just said this is a precaution because of what just happened.
Right. That's
that's crazy.
I saw that our very good friend Christy Puchko put something out online because she works. I guess in media, not I guess, I know she works in media, and she has friends that work in media. And so obviously she was affected by this, on a psychological level, as I think anybody that works in that industry. And then another one of our friends, and I'm not going to say who this was because it was on their personal Facebook page, and I don't know how political they are outside of that, but he said something along the lines of, there will be those who scratch their heads and wonder how or why someone would shoot up a newspaper. They needn't look further than statements like this. And there was a link to an article that he shared that says, Trump calls the media America's biggest enemy.
Oh, yeah.
Tweet about the North Korea summit coverage. And, we do live in a world where on a fairly regular basis, we are now being told that the media is a bunch of liars and that they're terrible and that they're the biggest enemy. And, all it takes is one violent video game and a lunatic president. And But you know what I'm saying? It's we live in strange times, folks. We live in
crazy times because I mean, like, remember, like, this isn't like dissimilar to what happened when Bill O'Reilly would like talk about George Tiller, the baby killer, and how someone should do something about it, and then he was murdered. Like, you know, shit. Like, people's words have consequences. Like, especially if you're the highest, you know, office in this country. Like, you can't say things like that because there are people who aren't as smart and, you know, might just go out and say, oh, okay, this is what we have to do. You know, like, it's crazy.
In a situation like this.
And I'm not trying to, like, politicize it at all, but, like, it's hard not to when the president has literally said that the media is the enemy and then they get killed. Like, I don't know how else to not politicize it.
In a situation like this, when the president says that, say as they investigate this case further, Trevor said he just saw some news. What did they say? They found an explosive device?
Yes, it's no specifics, but it's so far. Actually, I had the quote right here as the phone turned off. They said officers have recovered what appears to be an explosive device and have it tactically secured inside the building. So he brought something in and threw it down. And at the time, there was 170 people inside the building that he threw it. So they don't know if it's still too early to know if that's actually what it is or what if it's more ammunition.
Yeah, no one will know until tomorrow.
If it's more ammunition he threw down, he just apparently brought something and threw it down and started lighting up the place.
So as this gets investigated further and more details come out, now, if for some way it's connected to this guy doing a call to action based on what the president said, can the president be held responsible for that?
Well, the president's never going to be held responsible for anything he does. Let's just be honest. Like,
at this point, if he hasn't been held responsible for anything, why would this be any different?
Dude, like, the kid who shot up the school in Parkland was on videotape wearing a "Make America Great" hat while shooting a pistol in the backyard, and people are still saying, like, I had no, that doesn't count. I don't know what the answer is here. Like, there's no, the blame. I don't know. I don't know enough details about this to be assigning blame or anything yet. Like, it's a tragedy, and my thoughts are with, like, all the victims on this.
I don't think you can blame the president on this at all. It's just, I feel like it's the same kind of argument as back in the day where, oh, that kid listened to Marilyn Manson all the time, or that person listened to Judas Priest all the time,
hold
and
on,
he went out
There's
and
a difference between interpreting lyrics and suggestion compared to saying the president said that they're the enemy.
Say to go shoot
so I'm not saying this happened. I'm just talking if this becomes the situation. I'm not saying this did happen at the time we're recording this.
Yeah.
If he said, I took a call to action based on comments that the president said, is he held responsible because it's a direct connection? It's not an interpretation of satanic lyrics made me go kill somebody. You know.
Oh, if you're saying if the shooter comes out and said I did this,
one's an
that's
interpretation. This is I'm responding to direct comments. The president didn't say to do this, but by implying that they're the enemy, this particular person may have taken those comments and said, "Well, I'm taking action based on him saying that."
Yeah, I misunderstood what you guys were saying.
Well, here's the thing. If that did happen, the immediate response would be, this is fake news. It was a deep state plant to try and make Trump look bad. Like, you have to, like, think, like, 5 steps ahead in chess here with the way the fake news is going here. Like, they're already ready to flip this as, you know, this is the Democrats' fault. Like, Sean Hannity already blamed Maxine Waters for this. Yep. You know, like,
he did?
They are. Oh yeah, dude. He's a fucking nut.
How did he draw the lines to that?
Because he just says anything he wants and there's no repercussions. That's what happened.
No, but, like, you said you know this. I didn't know this information. Did you?
It was on Twitter.
Oh, okay. He tweeted it out that this was, you know, her fault.
He said it on his show.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's insane.
Well, he's nuts. Like,
I also think there's just a bunch of fucking crazy people in the world that go around and shoot people and they think that they're right because they heard something, or they just fucking do it because they're crazy. I don't know if there's anyone to blame here except the guy who actually loaded the gun and shot it.
So what Hannity said, he quoted Maxine Waters, who said, let's make sure we show up wherever we have to show up. If you see anybody from the cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd and you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere. But correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the Gazette a bit left-leaning? I don't think they're a conservative newspaper, correct?
From what I've read, they're basically a middle of the road, magazine. Like they're not really political. They're just a newspaper. Like how news used to be, when there was no agenda and people just told you the fucking news.
The facts.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that still existed.
I don't know. It's crazy. I mean, I'm on his Twitter page right now, and Hannity is like retweeting the audio saying it's liberalized, saying that he settled. It's all crazy, dude. Like we live in this post-truth world, and it's fucking terrifying.
Oh yeah.
Like it doesn't matter. Like I said, this guy could go on TV tomorrow and be like, President Trump like told me to do this. And it would just be considered a deep state false flag by liberals. You know what I mean? Like, so there's no point in even talking about it in that way. I don't know.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
All right.
There's no. At the end of the day, there is no correct answer coming from any of us. It's just, and we're never. When things like this happen, I don't think we'll ever know the truth, no matter what.
Well, this guy's not dead, right?
No, they have him in custody. They found him
dead.
hiding under a desk.
No. So he might actually be able to tell us exactly what his motivation was.
Well, he's being completely uncooperative, according to the police. Like, he's not saying anything.
Yeah, but no one's ever. It's the same thing. He can even tell us straight up, this is why I did it, and half the people in the world are going to call him, oh, he's a nutbag, and the other half will be like, see, he told us the truth. Again, we're never going to know what to trust.
That's the world we live in. Yeah. That's the world we live in.
Why don't we revisit it next week? Maybe
we will as the details unfold.
But, I only go political on the show when Matt talks.
I want to do a sidebar.
Roseanne's.
I want to do a sidebar on this based on the fact of if this gentleman responded to something the president said directly.
Okay.
Last week, the president also said something about it was right after the Redhead restaurant incident.
Mm-hmm. Redhead, yeah.
Who was he saying to punch the guy in the face that I would pay your legal fees?
Ooh,
that was at a rally.
I know that was at a rally. This is the point I'm getting to. He's directly saying that, right? And he said it a few times where he's like, believe me, it's like I'll cover your costs. I'll have the finest lawyers, whatever, and I'll take care of if somebody just punches this guy in the face. Now, I don't remember who he was referencing because I'm not completely up on politics, but if this situation happened, somebody went and punched this person in the face, is the president held responsible for it?
Yes.
No.
What he should be? Yeah.
You're not. Are you asking should he be? Or are you asking will he be?
I'm asking will he be?
Oh no. Yeah,
that's what I thought. Unfortunately,
but should he be? Because he's promoting assault, brother.
No, he's not. He is not held responsible for anything. What did he say? Didn't he say I could literally walk up to somebody? Remember that quote?
Oh, in Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I'll get away with it.
And I'll get away with it.
And
yeah, there's dude. I've talked like stuff. Yeah, but like I mean, he's not held responsible for anything. I can kill, and I'll not lose. Not that I'll lose any supporters.
And he knows it.
Oh wow, that was fast.
Jesus, holy shit!
Your whole rant just went like double time.
Well, I don't know what's happening here. You guys are still on a frozen screen for me. Matt looks great.
Hey,
I don't know. It's just a weird time that, not just. I mean, the shooting is not.
Is anyone shocked by this stuff?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the right way to say it because
we're numb to it.
You are surprised when it happens, but again, you're not surprised when it happens because it happens all the time now.
I just said, it popped up on my phone.
Another one.
Oh shit. And that was it. Because it's kind of...
This is how my day goes. I go on Twitter, I see 50 headlines that say fuck, and then I go to news.google.com to see what happened. Like, that's my day. All day. Like, and that's not even a joke. Like, that legitimately happens. Like, yesterday I went in there and just said, oh, fuck, no. And I'm like, all right, who died? And it was like, oh, no, Kennedy is, like, resigning. I'm like, oh, shit. But, like, that's how news flows now. It's just like you hear someone say, oh, shit, and then you look to see what happened.
How do you know which...
Why get up in the morning anymore?
I've been asking that for the last 5 days.
For the last 37 years.
Well, all right, moving on from that, and based on this technical issue that we're experiencing here, Gills and I were talking the other day. If you're not aware, last week the net neutrality ruling was completely and officially dissolved. Like, it's done.
God.
So I noticed, and I don't know if this is really the answer, but I noticed not this past weekend, but the weekend before, I have a gig line here with FiOS. So, you know, I paid all the extra to have the open pipeline so that there would be no problems with downloading and uploading speeds, what have you. And I noticed there was starting to be problems. All right, and I'm paying for the best line that FiOS has.
But you know what? FiOS has been having problems in general.
It has been.
Complaining about it in the past couple of weeks. I've had it where my internet will randomly just drop out, and the only way to get it back is to reboot my router.
I've had that too. Where
happened to me the other day, but I couldn't. It didn't work until like 4 a.m. Like my internet was just out for hours.
I have it where I still have the bars saying that your phone's connected to the Wi-Fi,
and
then there's nothing happening. The TVs aren't working. The phones aren't working.
Yeah, I have that too.
I've rebooted the router twice, and I was like, this shouldn't be. Like I know back when you have a lower connection speed, if people in your building or in your neighborhood are all not necessarily Netflix, but more gaming, right? If you have a bunch of kids on your block and they're all streaming games and you've got a lower internet speed, it does bog down a little bit because everybody on your particular grid is using it to its capacity. But when you have an open pipeline like I put in here and, you know, where Giddles lives, he has a lesser speed, but still enough to more than handle what needs to be done. Same with Matt. And then those start bogging down for no reason and no set time of day. That it made us, like Giddles was like, it could be this net neutrality thing where they said your speeds aren't going to slow down. You're giving more control to the cable and internet companies because net neutrality has been dissolved, but everyone was afraid that, well, they're going to control the speed. If you want it faster, you got to pay for more. Remember that? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, of course, but in all honesty, cable companies started trying to do this before net neutrality passed.
Which is why they put net neutrality in place.
Which is why they put it in place. And yeah, I have no doubt within the next year it's going to be like you have your cable package, and then you're going to have to pay extra for a streaming package.
Yeah.
That allows you to stream Hulu and Netflix and all this shit. And then all of a sudden, somewhere in middle America, someone's not going to be able to buy truck balls. And get very upset, and that's be a change.
Well, according, now that the Supreme Court has ruled internet sales tax.
Yeah, you can get charged now.
Is now every state in the country.
But can I be honest with you on that?
Yeah,
I actually don't have a problem with that.
I didn't think so either.
We all took advantage of it for years,
right.
But although in the last 4 or 5 years, New Jersey has had to pay sales tax,
right?
Yes.
But for a while, we did it, but I have no problem with that. Fuck them. Yeah, we have to pay sales tax.
Well, I had to pay it for anybody uses eBay or Amazon, you pay sales tax.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. To me, that's not such a big deal. That's not evil empire shit. That's actually just catching up with the modern world.
Right. Yeah. But from what I've seen, medium to smaller sized businesses have been the ones that have been voicing on the news and complaining and protesting stuff because this internet sales tax thing is going to hurt their business to the point that they don't know if they're going to be around anymore. I don't know if that's exaggeration or if that's an actual fact.
I've worked for a mom and pop shop for like on and off the last 10 years, and it was a big deal when all of a sudden, we couldn't sell. They'd come in and try the guitars in the store, and then they would just buy it off Musician's Friend because they'd save a couple $100s on tax if they were buying something super expensive. And so then we started selling stuff on Reverb and stuff like that. We didn't have to do tax, and now we're getting hit up. So it's really not that big of a deal for like my business or what we do over there, but I can see how some people can complain about it, but it doesn't bother me.
Matt, what were you saying?
No, I was going to say, I support small and local business, but at the same time, like they don't have any overhead, or they have significantly less overhead by not having a brick and mortar.
Huh.
So brick and Morty.
So what are they? I mean, they have to raise their prices by less than 10% in most states. I don't know. That one doesn't bother me as much. It sucks if it hurts a small business. I don't want to see it happen. But to me, that's just kind of catching up.
I didn't think it was that big a deal.
I separate that from issues like net neutrality, which I think is a fucking nightmare.
All right, moving on.
Look,
we've been very
I tried to
serious.
support a local business the other day, and it sucked. Like, I hate to say it, man, but like I called the car service because I didn't want to use Uber, and it took them an hour, and they got lost, and then called me back and told me that I didn't know where I lived. I was so fucking pissed. And I was like, I called them back afterwards after I complained, and I was like, dude, this is why you guys are going to go out of business, because like you honestly don't give a shit.
Yeah, you just don't care.
Yeah, well, they just don't care.
I had that problem with brick and mortar back around the holidays. I went into a store, and I didn't blame the store or the employees in the store, but I blamed the corporate. I went into a store. It was 2 weeks before Christmas. I wasn't even there on the weekend. I was there during the week. The store had 50 customers in it and 2 cashiers.
Yep.
One of them was on the floor. I waited online for 45 minutes to pay. I got frustrated because I was running out of time because I was on my lunch. And in the time it took me to go from the brick and mortar store back to my car, I had ordered it on Amazon, and it was on my front doorstep the next morning.
Yeah. So much better.
Why were they on the floor?
Not laying on the floor like on the floor like helping customers.
Yeah, like putting clothes back on the rack or some shit. Not like drowning.
The way you presented that, like they were on the floor, like you walked in and they're taking a nap or something.
That's not how I took it at all.
That's retail talk. That's retail.
Yeah, only Eric
based on
that.
my retail experiences, I go and hide in different structures and nap.
Yeah, in the freezer, you freak.
It is, you build forts, so I can't really trust what you say.
I originated Fortnite in the freezer section at Walmart.
Yeah, and they were like, yeah, because Eric's been missing for 2 weeks.
And even then, you sucked at building.
Yeah.
Remember how we started this show?
I had boxes of eggs and cardboard laid on the top grid so you couldn't see me.
Of course, your experience is the exact opposite of everybody else's experience.
All right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the equation.
Coming back around again.
We're members of society. He's hiding behind the protein in the dairy aisle.
Yeah.
One more serious topic before we go to break. Toys R Us is closing officially Friday, June 29th. All of the stores.
Tomorrow.
Womp womp.
So by the
if you're listening to this now, it's probably gone.
It's too late. The doors are closed.
And
go ahead.
And a lot of stores have closed already. It's just whatever ones are kind of holding out.
Yeah, this is the complete shutdown of the company, completely gone.
Yeah.
What I have the what?
Except for Canada.
But that's technically run by a different company, just using the name Toys R Us. Like Sirius XM, right? We were on in Canada, we have a Canadian division, but technically it's another company that Sirius does business with, but they use the name Sirius XM because they're not allowed to have full ownership of a company in Canada because they're not in Canada or some weird law like that.
Oh, so why aren't we still on in Canada?
Because they just tell the other company, we pay your salary, you're not going to keep that show on the air. So it didn't work out that way.
Corporate America screwing Canada again.
Yes, and us, always. But Toys R Us closing down, what I've noticed is the lack of concern from the few retailers that do offer a toy section of ramping up or remodeling based on the wake of Toys R Us. Target and Walmart still look horrendous. There's a lot of empty pegs. They barely have the stuff restocked, and it's once in a while they fill an end cap, and that's it. They really have not been concerned about the influx of parents coming to these places to buy toys in the wake of Toys R Us, which I think is a stupid move.
It's quite sad. My son just had his birthday, in the last few weeks, and where he would normally get like a stack of Toys R Us gift cards,
right?
He got a bunch of Target gift cards and Amazon gift cards.
Yeah, I was gonna say it goes back to what Matt says. Like I just Google anything I want now, and it pops up usually on Amazon first, and it's at my house the next day.
No, and that is convenient, but there is also some old-fashioned about being able, as a kid, using your own. It's like your first experience with money. His son is a rather young age, so when he gets gift cards, that's his money. So he can go and do what he wants with that by going to the store and make the decision to pick out what he wants and use his card. It's a little bit of independence to doing it yourself, and it's kind of robbing kids of this experience.
Well, it's Toys R Us is just one in the line of many.
Yeah.
The problem with retail stores is that at some point in time, they literally just stopped caring about customer service.
Fact.
And the thing that made you want to go to a store more than a sense of immediacy was the customer service. It was going into a store and being able to ask somebody a question and get it answered, whether it be, where can I find such and such product, Or can you give me a recommendation on the last time I walked into a Best Buy, for example, I asked the guy where I could find something in particular, and he looked at me like I was speaking in tongues.
Yeah, dude.
He had no clue where the shit. Now, this is a guy working in the store. He wasn't new. He didn't have the my first day name tag on.
Yeah.
No fucking clue where any of the product in his store was. His entire job is to know where shit in that store was. No fucking clue. Looked at me like I was crazy.
And you were probably asking for, like, do you have an HDMI cable? Like something common.
Yeah, actually, what I was looking for was an HDMI to USB. What are those little converters? Those little dongles that let you go from one to the other?
Right.
Which I know they sell. You know, I know they have a whole peg of them. Monster makes them. Like, I know they sell them. I just couldn't find them. And this guy looked at me like I was special. So that's
Dude,
going away.
I went to a Best Buy and I asked the guy if they had an alarm clock, and he just looked at I don't even think he knew what an alarm clock was. He just like pulled out his phone. He's like, "You mean this?"
Yeah.
I was like, no, like a clock radio that I could just have like on my desk. And he was just like, clock radio, and I was like, I just need to go.
Actually, I like to fuck with stores now. Like, if you ever like are in the mall, the rare time people still go to malls, like just go to Abercrombie or the Gap and just say, do you have any jeans that are not pre-ripped or worn? They freak out. They're like, why would you want that? I'm like, because my knees get cold. Stop.
Yeah, I went to an Abercrombie. I was like, do you have any jeans that are not pre-ripped? And they looked at me funny, and then I pooped on their floor.
Go to Walmart if you want mom jeans.
Yeah.
It's like, Mom, I don't want mom jeans. I just want a complete pair of pants.
Yeah. I'm sorry. If I'm going to spend $37.95, you know.
I don't want to look like I'm in tatters.
Yeah.
My friend has a punk band, and they have a song called Mom Jeans Equals Dad Boners, and I think it's kind of funny.
You should get us the song. We'll play it.
All right. I can get that in a second. They will give it to us free of charge.
Please do. We'll play it as a bonus material somewhere down the line.
All right.
That would be great. But, all right, Toys R Us is done. No other stores are really looking to compete or pick up the audience, the clientele that Toys R Us is leaving behind by sprucing up their supply and their sections in their stores to make it more attractive to the parents that still want to go into a store to purchase stuff rather than doing it online.
And the sad thing is, giraffes are getting endangered, and now poor Jeffrey.
Yes.
True. Party City is going to be doing pop-ups for the holiday called Toy City, I think. I read yesterday.
Wasn't that supposed to be the Toys R Us pop-up?
No, KB was going to do
KB,
it.
that's what it was, yeah.
And I don't know what happened to that. I think that might have died on the vine. So.
Yeah, that company just bought the name or whatever, the rights to the name, and then never did anything with it.
What did KB stand for?
Do a pop-up, and then you never heard anything about it again. So I just assumed that went away.
KB, what did it stand for?
Yeah, what did KB stand for?
I don't know what KB stand for. Kill Brian.
Poor Brian.
Killer Buys. I have no idea.
Oh, that went dark.
That's probably, and it was a little on the nose too. It's like, our prices won't be beat, or we'll kill you. Oh, it ties into the name. Got it.
Wasn't it KAYBEE? I don't think it was. Right?
Probably
or
was.
Actually, letter K and a letter B.
I think it changed. Oh God! Well,
Yeah.
we have smartphones. Let's make them smart.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I just was not, I was surprised that no other business was stepping up to try to look as a good publicity move, even just to say, hey, we know Toys R Us is closing down. Come to Target. We've revamped our toy section with make it attractive to parents to still come to a store to buy stuff for their kids or bring their kids to buy these things, and nobody sees the day of this great PR opportunity to do so.
And I just don't think people really care that much. I think if anything, Target's like, well, where else are they going to go?
The original concept was actually a candy store owned by the Kaufman brothers.
Ah, I see it here. Yes.
In the early to mid 70s, they changed it to KAYBEE, Toy and Hobby. But the K and the B came from Kaufman Brothers.
So just like in Hollywood, the Jews changed their name to make them more appealing to the Gentile audience.
It's true. That's what we do.
Break.
All right, let's
end on the Jew note.
Yes, we'll end on the Jew note. We'll take a break. When we come back, we've got a bunch of TV and news updates for you. and so on and so forth. Be right back.
It's Erik Nagel with Eric, Matt, and Giddles. Back right after this. It's Erik Nagel. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, and Facebook at It's Erik Nagel. It's Erik Nagel. Erik Nagel.
Welcome back to It's Erik Nagel. That is me. Matt OG and Giddles over in the Upside Down. Trevs and Devs to my right over here.
Go England!
I don't know what you're yelling about.
I just was looking up the World Cup scores. I got the notification, but just reading up on it because I like to sit in traffic and drive here instead of watching the World Cup, which everyone else is doing.
Dude, no. All right, we're going to get into the World Cup in just a second because it's a bunch of bullshit with the World Cup. This is the music from Jurassic Park, the big movie that came out this past weekend, #1 at the box office. To nobody's surprise, $150 million, $711 million globally.
Doll hairs?
Doll hairs. Yes.
Doll hairs.
Doll hairs.
Yes.
Number
Doll
2,
hairs.
The Incredibles, which is Jesus Christ, it's almost at $500 million for the global
That's
take.
incredible.
2.
Oh, sorry.
Ocean's 8, the movie no one cares about, at number 3. Tag at number 4, and Deadpool 2, still in the top 5.
Bye-bye, Star Wars.
For the 5th week. It's been out about 5 weeks. It's over $700 million, so that's doing fantastic as well. Not a lot of positive buzz for Jurassic World 2. It's a bit 50-50, but lately I've been seeing more and more people leaning to the fact that it's less dinosaurs and more pointless story that doesn't really need to be part of the movie.
But
I mean,
look, I watch Jurassic Park obviously for the dinosaurs, but I also don't like it to just see, because Jurassic Park 2,
right?
Jurassic Park 2, the film, not the book.
Lost World.
Yeah, the Lost World was really just like 2 hours of CGI dinosaurs, and that's about it. And that movie sucked a donkey dong. Right. I like a little bit of story. Give me a reason why these things are happening. I don't hate the concept behind it. I don't hate the idea that the humans are bringing this upon themselves because they're greedy idiots. Like I haven't seen the new one, but I like the previous one.
A lot of people comparing the Jurassic World 2 to Jurassic Park 2 with that's a spoiler. I don't want to give that part away. There's a lot of similarities.
The
they
poster
just remade
has,
the movie.
the dinosaur on the main land, so I feel like it's not really a spoiler.
Okay, fair enough. The dinosaurs leave the island again and join the mainland, just like in Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World, which was also the ending to the original book that they didn't have in the first movie, where the dinosaurs leaving the park and going to the mainland.
Did you see that there was like a meme going around about...
Get out, a meme?
I know. The next Jurassic Park movie will take place in the extreme future where the dinosaurs have taken over the Earth. And in this film, the dinosaurs will become super smart. They will find human DNA in some...
so they're remaking the first movie as the dinosaurs.
They will find human DNA in a piece of amber with a mosquito. They will clone that DNA. It will turn out to be Jeff Goldblum. Yes! But his DNA mixed with the mosquitoes. It's also really a sequel to The Fly.
Yeah.
Wow,
that's
tweet.
pretty clever.
That would be.
I saw that. I saw that tweet and I was like, man, I want that movie more than Jurassic World.
As long as there's a dinosaur yelling, "I'm the baby, gotta love me," I'd watch it. I'd be first in line.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Like for me, I just haven't liked the Jurassic Park.
That's horrible. What?
I just haven't liked the Jurassic Park since the original. I mean, every movie is the same thing. It's just dinosaurs eating people. And it's just not even creative anymore, though. If it was like Final Destination, where you're like, oh, I wonder how the dinosaur is going to eat this person this time. I didn't expect that ladder to get him. But it's just fucking dinosaurs.
What I liked about the last one, Jurassic World, not Fallen Kingdom, because that's the new one. What I liked about Jurassic World was I liked the idea of we got to the point that we weren't just happy with cloning dinosaurs. Now we were trying to crossbreed. I thought that was pretty clever. They cross a Tyrannosaurus Rex and a raptor, and you come up with the Indominus Rex, and that was the big bad in the last.
How come it's clever in Jurassic Park, but if they do it in Predator and Alien, it's considered tacky and horrible?
Because in Predator, I think because dinosaurs are dumb beasts with the exception of velociraptors. Predators are this advanced aliens race, and I see no reason for them to become a hybrid with a person.
Yeah, like they're already like super powerful. They can, they can do everything.
Right. So why do we need a human? If Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom was someone was combining a human with a dinosaur, that would be retarded. Oh, we can't say the R word. That would be stupid.
Radical. We'll say it's radical.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous. There you go.
I want to see when the shit's hitting the fan. There's dinosaurs in the lab trying to stop a meltdown or the power being shut, and looks over at a computer monitor where there's a T-Rex waving his tiny arm going,
You didn't say the magic word.
I just want to see it. All they have to do is press enter to stop it, but their arms are too short, and they're just freaking out trying to hit enter the whole time. Like,
Oh, wait. What does that girl say?
and then the island
This
has
is a link system. I know this. Like, all of a sudden.
then the sky turns purple and the island blows up like in Lost, and it travels through time. Dinosaurs travel through time.
Spoiler.
Spoiler,
We're
Eric.
spoiling everything across multiple time periods.
God.
Ugh, Jesus.
Never saw Lost.
Well, I mean, it would make sense if the dinosaurs were on a disappearing island. Makes sense to me.
I don't
It
know.
just seems like Jurassic Park, the whole concept has just steadily gotten worse and worse and worse. And then, like, Chris Pratt kind of brought it back to a little bit of glory, and now it's getting worse again. I mean, I have no... I knew it was coming out this summer, didn't realize it already came out until, like, I was at work, and they're like, oh, yeah, Jurassic World comes out today. I was like, oh, shit, I didn't know that. And I still don't have, like, a rush to go out and see it.
Well, as always, we tell you, go out and see it and make your own opinion. But
Yeah, just like Gotti.
yes.
Oh,
It was pretty good.
Speaking of things that you... No, go ahead, Gil.
Oh no, I was just gonna make a stupid joke
No,
about.
please do.
It's not good.
No,
I'm
come
just
on,
gonna
do it.
it now.
We're all
Come on,
excited.
Giddles.
They're gonna have a crossover with Queer Eye, and it's gonna be called Jurassic Snark.
Oh.
I don't know. It's kind of worth it for me.
I think
Just for Matt's reaction to it.
No, I wanted it because we needed an episode title. So there it
Jurassic
goes.
Snark.
Jurassic Snark.
Or we're just going to call it Disappointed
sorry.
in Giddles.
Ugh, I gotta shower. That was
Or if
dirty.
he was in the DC universe, he'd be Jurassic Snart.
guys, my mic is breaking up. I think I have to go.
Matt died on his way back to his home planet.
Not knowing when things are coming out seems to be happening more and more, and basically our job for this show is to let you know of things that are coming out, and there's still some things that show up like, wait a minute, where the hell did that come from?
I mean, I knew it was coming out.
Well, Trevor apparently didn't know, despite the big media campaign that was going around.
And I work in media.
Right. So he didn't know that. But I'm referring to, in my case, we've talked about and had people on from the show Preacher for, since it started. Season 3 happened. I saw it on my DVR. It was already 2 episodes in. I had no idea it was back.
That one, I will admit, kind of popped up. I don't know where all the promotion was for it. I remember seeing promotion for it like a month or 2 ago when they did their first trailer for the new season.
Right.
And then I didn't hear anything, and then it had started. And I also realized that I never finished last season. So I need to catch up on
Preacher?
Yeah.
Last season was really good.
I haven't started this season yet because I still have a couple of episodes from last season. But my buddy, who is like an even bigger fan of the comics than I am, has said that like the first 2 episodes of the season have been fucking incredible. So I'm really excited.
Current season?
Yeah, because I know that they go back to Louisiana and they have TJ and his brothers and mom and like the real like book 2 of the graphic novels where it gets really fucked up. So like it's gonna start getting good, I think.
Yeah.
When the mom reveal and like the brothers, like it's really crazy. Like I hope they go as far as they can because they can't go as far as they can in the comics, but like as far as they can do it for TV.
Because the whole Hair Star arc was really good.
Well, yeah, and the Hair Star still's got more to go. They haven't had Allfather yet, right? Like, is Allfather on the show?
I gotta remember the last episode. I don't think so.
Allfather is like a ginormous person. He's like 800 pounds. It takes like 5 people, and they have to like carry him around, and he's like a deity.
Right.
Yeah. No.
And they bring Preacher to him. I don't think they've introduced Allfather yet. I've said that what's his name should be him. Louis Anderson should be Allfather because I think he'd be perfect for it.
Oh God.
I think where it left off is the Preacher's realization that God was in the Gimp dog suit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that's where season 2 left off. So now I was like, all right. Now, and by the time we're doing this, probably 3 episodes deep into the new season that I still haven't watched. So I was unaware of that. Another thing I was unaware of is I think it was last summer, Matt and I talked to Mark Summers at Nickelodeon at San Diego Comic-Con.
Okay.
And
this popped up out of nowhere. I know where you're going with.
So
This
Yeah,
one
same
was
here.
all over my Facebook. I had
So-
Facebook ads everywhere.
we talked to him, and he said they were bringing back Double Dare, and we didn't know when yet. They didn't have a date, but they had the production company and everything lined up with Nickelodeon that they were going to do this. Then all of a sudden, I see again. I think it might have been clips on Facebook or something that it debuted. I was like, I didn't see any promotion anywhere, or like even in Entertainment Weekly, magazines, nothing, because this is sort of a big deal that this show is coming back. And nothing, no radio spots, no anything. Even when you on certain social media platforms, you get the sponsored ads that show up. Nothing even in there. So I was like, wow. And then I see that it already started, so I had to go back and find the episode, and I watched it. Yeah, Double Dare came back. Mark Summers is not hosting it.
No.
It's this other lady who's hosting the show. Mark Summers has the Harvey role, which was the announcer, and then he comes up and on stage and also sort of does the I forgot the Robin, the woman's I forgot what she was called, but her job was to come on stage and help set up the physical challenges and whatnot for the kids to do these little stunts and bits. So he's helping with that, and he's the announcer. It's a very tiny budget, the way they're doing this show. Like, the set looks good, but you can see that the budget's very small for this, and it is edited so bad. It is edited like a YouTube video. You know when they do all the jump cuts?
Yeah.
There's so many jump cuts in this thing that you can't focus watching this television show. I'm sure kids... Look, I'm not saying this is for us. It's obviously a kids' game show. Kids will like it, hopefully, this time around. But it's not the show that we had growing up, and that's fine too. But if you watch some of those old episodes on YouTube or whatever, it was shot like a television show. This is so tight, so quick. You can hear the poor audio edits. Like, they'll just have the crowd going nuts when it's like, if you do this obstacle, you can win this. And then it goes to the prize. And then you're hearing the applaud and everything, but it cuts back to the host at the next obstacle on the challenge there. The whole audience is just sitting there looking, but you're still hearing applause. Like, it's that poor.
Did they still win Sega Genesis?
No, they won. They had karaoke machines. They had a bike.
Oh, so they still win the karaoke machine.
Yeah, the karaoke machine, the bike. I'm waiting for, the trip to space camp.
And you get the new Nikes that you could pump up.
Sounds like rated the prize bar at Dave & Buster's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
seriously, that's what it is.
He won a Hamilton blender.
You know what the funny thing is? I watched, it was a video of the new host and Mark Summers talking about, it's like, we have some of the old obstacles that we dug out of storage, and it literally looks like they dug the old nose with the glasses out of storage. Like, they didn't even paint it. Like,
Still has the boogers in it.
It's called
like,
Pickett,
ugh.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big nose. It looks like the Groucho Marx glasses. It's the big nose with the glasses, the eyebrows, and everything. They had some of the original obstacles in the challenge, the obstacle course there. The hamster wheel, where you run the hamster wheel, fill the thing up so that the boxing gloves comes down.
Yep.
They had the picket. They had the one where you slide into the mouth and go down the esophagus with all the gack and try to get the flag.
Yep. And I've also seen they pick up the pizza and you got to look through the food.
What, Matt?
I said that was always one of my favorites.
Yeah.
The slide, the ringer.
The slide was fun.
No, the ringer was the one with the wheel.
Yeah, the ringer wasn't there, but they change up each night. I only saw the first episode. I didn't see. It's on every night on Nickelodeon at 8 p.m. So I set the DVR to at least to see the first week of how it turns out. But that first show, the obstacles were what I told you. I like the one. Remember, there was one where it's just a huge pool, and it's either.
Yeah.
It's either the plastic balls like you would find at the ball pit at a fast food place, or it would be like it's a kid on a boogie board and it's like some horrific colored water, with obstacles floating in there, and the kid's trying to paddle through across it, and he's getting soaked. He's covered in blue water.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to see that. And then there's one thing, it's just a teeter-totter. He goes in, it's a big glass case, you crawl in one end, and as it teeters over, the other end has just like nacho cheese and other garbage laying there, and you slide through all this nonsense to face first into the mat on the floor, then you have to stand up and reach a flag.
I don't know.
Which is the one where they walk on the floor and then the floor drops out and they land on a pit of spikes covered in poop?
Oh, that's Global Guts.
Oh, Global Guts. Okay. I might even be thinking of that Vietnam documentary I saw. I might be wrong.
What's the one where you fight for the aggro crag and you kick a kid off the pyramid at the end?
Guts.
That was Guts.
That was Guts?
Global Guts, yeah.
Yeah. I always wanted one of the aggro crags.
Me too.
Just the thing because it's sitting there glowing. You know it's radioactive nonsense.
But if out of all the shows that were all the game shows like that Nick did, is that the one you would do Guts? Because I was never an active person, but I always wanted to be on Legends of the Hidden Temple.
I always wanted to do Double Dare.
Double Dare? I was Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Oh, Legends of the Hidden Temple all the way.
Yeah, purple parrots, bro.
What was the knockoff? I mean,
and not get raped by those temple guards if you didn't have the golden condom.
Remember the Double Dare knockoff called Funhouse that used to be on here in New York? Was Channel 11, right?
Oh, when they opened the doors and you
where
get
the host was
fish?
J.D. Roth. It was this redhead guy, and it was a huge studio. Like it had like a track. And
it was gigantic.
Right?
I do remember that.
So there was Funhouse, but then they had that other show. I don't know if it was a Nickelodeon show, if it was a syndicated show. But it was the one where you go running through the house and ripping rooms apart to try to
Finders Keepers.
Thank you.
The TV show that parents hated.
Because you'd reenact it at home.
I would play that with my sister all the time. Be like, you want to play Finders Keepers? My parents came by like, well, did we get robbed? What happened?
It's like he was looking for the blue marble.
You pinned the dog under a dresser. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, trying to find the key.
Well, where was the marble? Oh, it wasn't in this room. That's right.
What about Nick Arcade, where like they played the video games?
Nick Arcade got stupid fast because it started off and it had rights to certain Sega properties.
Yes.
And then they quickly lost the rights for some reason, and then it was all these made-up games that hack editors were just generating. So it's like you're flying a biplane over a mountain range. If you can avoid 9 mountain ranges, then you win whatever shitty prize that was left over from the Double Dare closet.
Well, I remember like it was cool, like the Postman game where you had to run and jump over dogs and deliver the paper. Like that was cool. But the final game was always you had to stand in front of a green screen. And it was impossible for you to win because you're looking at the TV, but there's shit flying around you everywhere, and you never won the skateboard.
Was that your dream in life, to win the skateboard?
I just wanted to be on TV or be the Oscar Mayer Wiener kid.
Well, even the arcade games they played, you know what it was? It was like when you go on the Xbox store and you go to free games, but then you don't go to the top free games, you go to like page 8. And it's just like biplane challenge. Like that's the games that they had. Like that's literally the games they had. They were terrible games.
Oh, boo.
Oh, they're all
like we're gonna play jump over the crack, and there's like a crack in the sidewalk. You jump over it. It's like a shitty fucking game. Like it's not even a game. It's like a game that like poor people have. We're just like, we just gotta entertain ourselves because there's no crops this year.
Well, and the final challenge is this game called Cave Dwellings, which looks like Pitfall, except you can't actually jump over the pitfall. You just immediately go to your death, and we end the show early.
Yeah.
Good quality children's programming. Let's talk about other quality programming. There's a lot going on in Netflix. Some updates for you. Glow Season 2 is coming out as the time you're hearing this podcast. You guys saw Glow Season 1?
No.
I was told to.
I was told to. My wife watched it and loved it. I just never got around to it. And it wasn't for lack of wanting. It's just like everything else. There's only so many hours in the day, and there's too much shit to consume, and I just never got to it.
I get it. Mark Maron's really good in it, and the lovely lady from Community her name is escaping me. Is it
Season 1's great.
Annie on Community, but I can't think of her name.
I can't think
in real.
of her name either.
I also have to watch Community.
There's quite a lovely locker room changing scene involving her. So that's enough to sell Glow Season 1.
I'm trying to look up her name, but I can't. Allison.
Allison Brie, right?
Allison Brie. There it is.
All right. She's quite fetching.
Yeah.
So check it out. Season 2 is just made available, so you could binge watch both seasons to your heart's delight. Voltron Season 6. Again, another show that surprised me out of nowhere. I didn't realize it was coming back last Friday. and by Saturday I had watched all of season 6.
Nice.
That was my Friday night. I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch all of Voltron.
Do it.
You live an exciting life.
It is Voltron. This new Voltron is amazing. It is really good.
Did you see the new Lego Voltron?
That new Lego Voltron, this was one of those ones that Lego has that idea lab where you can vote on projects. This is how we got the TARDIS. It's how we got the Tron cycles, which I just got, by the way, and just finished building recently.
Oh, nice.
So Voltron was voted on last year and passed, and they finally announced that it's coming out in August, although I think a limited number might be available at San Diego, but it's going to be $180. He stands 15 inches tall. It's 5 lions that can then form Voltron. It comes with the sword and the shield, and it does have a minimal amount of articulation. The one thing I haven't seen that I'm a little disappointed in is I haven't seen any minifigures.
Oh, so you have the lions, but there's no figures to go into them.
No pilots. So, but that being said, the set looks fucking amazing for $180, which is about what I would expect, to be quite honest with you.
So you can build just the 5 lions, or you can build them as Voltron.
Well, yeah, so I don't even think you have to do anything special to make them into Voltron, other than actually just piece them together.
So the lions come together whole.
You don't have to take the lions apart to form Voltron.
Okay.
Wow.
I think you have to move the tail from one spot to the other, and then it will just lock in.
Well, that's one of the sets where I'd go to build it and I glue it piece by piece, because I don't want to have that thing fall apart. So I would build Voltron.
You glue your Legos?
Some of them I do.
Some people do that.
Yeah.
What? You guys are animals.
The Millennium Falcon I have over there, I glued it so that it stay. You can function. Like the hatches and everything open.
It's the Falcon, Eric.
But it doesn't.
I got what he said.
I missed it. It's all right.
Function. He said it's called the Falcon.
Gotcha. So it's funnier to repeat the joke. Is when I glued it together. It still has the mobility of everything on it, but it won't fall apart. Because stuff that big, things start falling apart if you touch it or move it or
like
anything.
in Spider-Man Homecoming, where he just drops the Death Star.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. Oh, the good reference.
Thank you.
Trevor's back on the board.
Hooray!
So, yeah, like the Simpsons house over there, I still got to finish it, but that half structure that's done, it's over in the far back there.
Oh, okay.
Has been glued piece by piece because that thing is going to stay together. I think I'd get the Voltron thing somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
It looks like an interesting piece. I'm excited for it. All right, this is going to be funny because I wrote on my notepad here, it says Luke Cake Season 2, not Luke Cage. Luke Cake.
I don't know what you've been watching.
I'm into Luke Cake. That sounds delicious.
Has anybody else started watching Luke Cage?
I did. I'm on. I am up to the last episode.
I'm on season 1, episode 1.
Gotcha.
All right, I'm on episode 5 of the new season.
Okay,
and it's not grabbing me as much as season 1 did, but I'm still mostly enjoying it. It's just feels a little slower than season 1 did.
Okay, here's the issue with that. Like a lot of these Marvel Netflix shows, they do take a long time to tell story. So it starts off quick, like the first episode, then gets very slow for a long time. And then it starts speeding up out of nowhere and really going full throttle. The last 3 episodes of the season, I'm not finished. I haven't finished the final episode of this season, but that one and then the 2 previous. So much has happened. It went so fast that you're like, oh my god, this is all worth it because you see everything coming together now. Plus, I enjoy the one of the villains for this season, Bushmaster, John McIver, who is this Jamaican gentleman.
MacGyver.
Yes, but it's spelled McIver, like Rose McIver. And he's a Jamaican gentleman whose family was wronged by the Stokes family in Harlem. They were partners, and then the Stokes backstabbed them and then wound up killing his family.
I hate to hit and run, guys, but I have a child who is calling my name. I have to bounce, but you guys wrap up lovely. When the summer's over, this will go back to being a lot more normal. But for now, I have a strange schedule.
How dare you have a life and responsibilities?
I know.
I envy and hate you at the same time.
Matt OG, thank you so much for joining us.
Always my pleasure.
All right. Damn, Matt left before I got to ask him about Cloak and Dagger, which is another Marvel series that started on the Freeform network. That used to be ABC Family or something like that.
Yes, it was ABC Family, and before that, Fox Family.
So Luke Cage Season 2, definitely check it out on Netflix. I forgot to ask Matt before he left. There's this show called Cloak and Dagger, which is on the Freeform network, which formerly was ABC Family. Now it's Freeform. It's another Marvel property, and I've watched the first 2 episodes. I have 2 more on the DVR, and I'm enjoying it based on the fact that I have no idea who these characters are or what the hell is going on. I don't understand their powers. I'm just watching somebody else's life and not understanding a single thing. And it's actually quite enjoyable.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I was just sitting there and like, I don't get any of this.
It's better to not know these backstories like going into it. I think that's why I like Black Panther, because I didn't know anything about it and it felt new. Whereas like the Avengers, I kind of knew a little bit of something about everybody, but I didn't know anything about Black Panther.
That's
so like going into it was new to me.
That's a good point. Yeah, Black Panther was really enjoyable because 1, it was a good movie, but 2, I didn't know a whole hell of a lot about Black Panther other than what we saw in was it Civil War where he showed up?
Yeah, and it wasn't even much there.
Yeah,
like, it was
but
quick.
the fact that when they were in Africa and you're like, everyone's like, he's going to be Black Panther, and you're like, what is Black Panther? I didn't know anything about that. So yeah, you know what? You're right. It is a different level of enjoyment. I'm watching Cloak and Dagger. I have no idea what's going on. I'm trying to piece all this together. It's very confusing, but I've been enjoying the fact that I'm like, look, everyone thinks that if you know comic books or read a comic book or know these comic book movies, that you know everything about the history of these characters and the world that they're from and all the things that deal with Marvel and DC. There are so many characters out there and so many stories that, I mean, Matt has read these things for years, so he knows a lot of this stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that I don't know, so I'm always constantly learning. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Why is that important? What is going on here? So I'm learning with just, with everybody else. But people ask me, it's like, you saw the movie, right? Yeah, I did. What the hell did this mean? I don't know, dude. Aren't you supposed to be the comic book guy? No, not at all. I know a lot of these things. I don't know every single thing. Look, I got out of Deadpool 2. There was a couple of things in there I didn't realize. I went on Google and I researched it, just like you did. And that's part of the fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I liked Gotti so much, because all the archival footage made me say, oh, there's actually a story here. I should probably look this up.
I was like, oh, this is what really happened.
Oh, there is something that happened here.
Got it now.
He was a bad man.
Now this all makes sense. Final thing with television, Roseanne, or as Giddles calls it,
Roseanne's.
Roseanne's.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. So she wound up giving up the ownership rights for this particular property. So they're going to continue sort of a spin-off, but it's going to be the family minus her, called the Connors. So they'll kill off Roseanne going into the Connors, and then it's going to focus more on...
Are you sure they're going to kill her?
That's what everybody's been saying, that they're killing off her character so that the family can move on and do all this stuff.
How are they going to kill her?
I think because, remember, you didn't watch the last season, did you?
No, I didn't care about it.
Okay, she had, they revealed...
Matt turned me off with all of his political talk about it.
God damn it, Matt.
They revealed that she had a bit of a painkiller problem. She was hoarding pills and prescriptions and things like that because their health insurance was not that good. So she was...
That is Ohio.
She was getting... she's not in Ohio. Where's Roseanne? Isn't it Illinois or something?
I thought it was Ohio. I could be wrong.
Wherever
it's one of those
town's
states.
Called Lanford. I thought it was Illinois.
Drew Carey show is in Ohio.
Point being that their health insurance isn't good. Dan doesn't have regular work. He's doing piece by piece. So they're struggling because that's what their family's story is. But Dan found out in the latter of the episodes, the last two of the episodes, that she's been hoarding pain pills off, like filling prescriptions that didn't need to be filled, filling or getting other people's prescriptions, things like that. She's been hoarding pain pills. And he discovered it when they were drinking, they were home one night, they were drinking, and Roseanne got all like freaking crazy, and he's like, well, I don't understand why she's acting like this is going on. And then he realized that she's been taking these pills, and he wasn't aware of it because he's monitoring their pills, but she had other stuff hidden. So he searched the house, found everything. So maybe that's what it is. She would probably have an overdose or something like that, or because she was supposed to get knee surgery too. She was taking all the pills for a knee issue that she had, but they couldn't afford the surgery because of their healthcare issues. So
they are in Illinois.
They're in Illinois,
the fictional suburb of Lanford,
Illinois. So I think that's what they're going to do. Is probably she's going to succumb to, which is a real problem, opioid addiction, and
serious problem.
And that's what she's probably going to do, so they can address that and then move on, with a serious issue, not like, she disappeared off a cruise ship or something, something wacky that sitcoms do. It'll probably be a really serious issue. They'll do that first episode of the family grieving, trying to move on, and then the second episode will be the establishing storyline for where they're going with the Connors. Some notes for this thing is that she gave up the rights to this particular spinoff. She still owns the rights to the characters, to Roseanne, everything else. They just, because of this situation, they couldn't continue with her having ownership on this, where she would be financially compensated for it, because advertisers didn't want anything to do with it, and it was really leaning on Disney and ABC that she can't have any involvement with it, but she can't also financially benefit from it either.
Yeah.
Which is, what she did wasn't good at all, but that seems a real extreme situation, that something she created and owned, like, you're not even allowed to own it anymore. Which she made an agreement for this particular show, and she said she messed up. This was all on her. She was crying about it, and she said, this was completely my fault. I don't want these people to lose their jobs, the cast, the crew, all these people involved. So she gave up all those rights for this particular project so everybody else could move on and keep making money, whatever. But if they ever resolve this thing and they come back to Roseanne or another spinoff, whatever, she still owns the full rights to it, along with
same thing
the
if they
production
start putting
company.
the syndication back out for the old ones.
Yeah, she has to make the money. They can't take everything away from her. Moving forward, the new project, she can't be a part of it, but they can't take everything away from her because of a stupid tweet like that.
Yeah.
So, the punishment doesn't fit the crime to that extent, where you can't financially fuck a person over forever because they did something stupid.
They could try. But
well, you can if they do like tax fraud or something like that. You could totally screw them over for life if they fuck over. Right. I mean, like, there's definitely ways you can be screwed over for life.
Tax fraud and a racist tweet don't really equal the same punishment. One's a jailable offense,
that.
one isn't.
Gittles is struggling right now.
It's like,
I struggle every day.
So, if you're a fan of the show, The Connors is coming back for the fall. Take that as what you will. Interesting note, Jerry Seinfeld defended her.
Yeah, he came out, I think it was, he did an interview with Entertainment Tonight, and he was saying how they shouldn't have canceled the show basically so quickly. He thought that ABC and Disney just kind of jumped the gun. Yeah, he could see, what happened, but he thinks that they jumped the gun and it was a bad move on them to do it so fast. It's okay with what they did to Roseanne Barr, the person, but he's like, just get someone else to play Roseanne. Yeah, maybe the show would have failed and it would have took a big hit, but he's just saying he doesn't think the spinoff's really going to work either. He thinks it might be like a one season and done thing.
Yeah, he did say, there's plenty of very funny actresses out there
that could have
taken the Roseanne role and kept the show going as is. But again, she owns the legal rights to it and the characters, because it's all based off her comedy and creation. How do you continue Roseanne when legally she's entitled to the ownership of it? Like, by doing the Connors is the way around, that she came to a mutual agreement with them that allows them to keep going. They
I think he was just
Roseanne.
More annoyed about how quickly it just got terminated.
Yeah. Yeah, Seinfeld.
Well, he's also looking at it from a person who could legitimately get caught in that same exact situation, where he could say something wrong and get fired, lose his show. I completely understand where he's coming from, but at the same point, I'm like, she said some really bad things, and she's said them previously, and she said this a lot of times on Twitter. There's records going back 10 years of her saying horrible things.
What could he get fired from, though?
I didn't say he did. I'm just saying he's in a position where he said something.
No, I'm not saying he did. I said, what can he get fired from?
Comedians and cars?
He owns it.
All the Seinfeld syndication?
He owns it.
So they can just stop showing it. They could just be like, yeah,
they could pull out a syndication, but
But I don't know if it's something that like can happen to him or just something he really relates to. Because I've seen lots of people like
that
who are defending him.
That makes more sense because he probably could visualize. Hey, if I was still doing Seinfeld and this happened, that could happen. Yeah, okay, that makes a lot more sense.
I mean, look what happened with Michael Richards. I mean, he went off on a little bit of a tirade. If that tirade came out today, like, there's no way he would have been on that reboot of Curb. No way in hell if that rant came out today.
Even though, besides Curb, because, again, that's the people who made Seinfeld, he hasn't really worked since. You know, he was on that TV Land show, which I think it only lasted a season or something. It was him and Rebecca from Cheers, Kirstie Alley. And I think Carla from Cheers was on there.
Or was that a different one?
No.
It was
one of those weird... TV Land started coming up with these weird sitcoms of old TV actors and putting them in new scenarios.
Yeah.
And I've never watched a single one of them, so I don't know how they did.
Yeah, there was one with like Newman and then the chick from Third Rock from the Sun. It was... Yeah.
Yeah, he was on Third Rock from the Sun.
I'm thinking of the
Wayne Knight was on Third Rock from the Sun. He played Kristen Johnson's boyfriend on the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
throwback.
So that's what's going on with TV.
I haven't watched any TV. It's all World Cup all the time, man.
World Cup. We never got into World Cup.
I haven't watched any TV. I've just been playing video games.
We'll do World Cup really quick.
Go England!
No, World Cup in this country is a bunch of crap because
why?
There's so many poser fans at bars and pubs going nuts for these games when you have nothing to do with this. You're not fans of these teams and you're just going crazy over Germany versus Sweden and you're acting like the Yankees hit a home run when there's a goal attempt.
I mean, you don't if you're a real fan of the World Cup,
they're not real fans.
All right, can I finish?
No.
God, real World Cup fans are not going to go to your Dave and Buster's / Buffalo Wild Wings / local bar to go watch a game. I went to go see the Australia game the other day. I went to an Australian bar. I went to watch the Brazil game the other day. I went to a Brazil bar. Like, that's where you have to go to watch these things and really enjoy it if you enjoy the game of soccer. I mean, everyone else, yes, there are posers out there, but they're just trying to get out on their lunch break so they could drink during the workday and use it as an excuse.
World Cup?
But the World Cup is the most important sporting event in
not.
the world.
All right, yes. In the world.
Hands down in the world.
In the world, the Olympics. It's bigger than the Winter Olympics. It's bigger
for
than
the
WNBA.
Rest of the world. It's not for this country. Even though we participate, we have a team.
We are the world.
But here's the thing:
we are
like,
the
we're not
world
even
in every other aspect except this sporting event, where we don't matter in it. It doesn't matter if we're there or not.
We didn't even qualify this year, dude.
Yeah,
like America wasn't even in the World Cup this year.
We have a team that this country doesn't give a shit about, even if they're in the damn World Cup. If they were in the final game, then you'd see Americans coming around to giving a shit about this.
I think you're wrong on that too, because
you're wrong, Eric.
When the US of A was in it 4 years ago, walking around the city, there was chanting from every bar when they were on, and they were all over the place walking around.
There was chanting from other bars. Like, people from other countries were cheering on America as they were going ahead because they
didn't want to get deported.
It is a travesty because we want
too soon.
It is a travesty. We should be embarrassed. This should actually be an issue in this country that we did not qualify for the World Cup.
No, it should be an issue that we're not participating with the rest of the world.
Yes,
I agree with that. But since that's not the case, every asshole that's in these bars going nuts for these teams, and they're not from there, their families are not from there, are a bunch of posers because they're going nuts and crazy. They're high-fiving and
they're supporting the sport.
It's like, no, they don't, because they're not watching this shit if it wasn't on.
Well, because it's only on every 4 years.
Yeah, but there's also games on there's tons of network. Your cable provider has tons of networks for the different football leagues that are available around the world, and one or two of the leagues that America does participate in, they're not watching that. The majority. Go ahead.
I will say that any of these events that come around every 2 to 4 years, like say like the Olympics and stuff like that, is mainly watched by people who never watch these things. Like,
agreed.
The World Cup has serious fans here. Like, there is no way, like, people I know girls who know every single football player on every team for every country and their stats for like the last 10 years. And they're just people born in New York.
I get what you're saying, that yes, there are posers, but I think that there are a lot more fans than you think there are.
I disagree. And I stand
But what
by
if
it.
the posers turn into fans? And then they don't have 4 years. They don't have like a game to celebrate for 4 years. So when it comes back around, they're like, "Oh shit, that's right! Like I forgot about this."
Well,
you know what I mean?
I'll put it this way: since you were bringing up the Olympics, I love the Olympics. I love watching the Olympics.
Ugh, so
I don't watch the qualifiers in the 4 years to see how, the track and field events, the gymnastics stuff, anything else going on. I don't watch that stuff to see who gets to the Olympics. I watch the Olympics. Okay, so in that case, you could say yes, you're a poser, you're only watching the Olympics. Agreed. I am watching it, but I admit that's what it is. There's a lot of people that come off and they're acting like they're diehard fans, and they're not. They don't watch it unless it's World Cup time and it comes around. So don't fake what you think. Don't fake it. You're not that person. You don't have a genuine interest in what these sports are, because these are the same douchebags that you see are doing the same, chest bumping and high fiving when they're watching the Yankees game or the Giants play. It's like you're not this kind of a football fan. You're just not.
I think you're at the wrong establishment.
I was at a pub owned by Guinness.
Yeah, I don't know, yeah, but that's the thing. Like, you need to go to like a local towny place. You went to like a chain place. Like, you're not gonna find those fans there. Like, the fans are going to the place where the bartender is Irish and the bar back is Irish. That's where they're going. Like, that's where the real fans are going. Like, where you're going to a fake restaurant, so you're gonna get the fake fans.
It's not a fake restaurant, but yes,
it's a fake restaurant, Eric. I ate there. Like, it was all right. It wasn't that.
The Shannon Rose. That's owned by Guinness?
I would much rather go to a local pub and get a burger than that place.
If there were local pubs like that around here, you're in the New York City area, so if you have that access.
And you're in the bougie suburbs.
I am. So I get dealt the hand that I have. So I like to go to to eat. I was there to eat. I didn't give a shit about the World Cup, but I was watching these guys go nuts. You know what they look like? Hype guys in rap videos? When one guy says some kind of diss line, and then everybody else is going, oh, they're just going crazy in the background while the one guy stands there like all tough. You know what I'm talking about?
Like the old WWF things where they would stand there and Paul Bearer would be there and be like, and when the Undertaker comes out, he's going to kill you.
Yeah. Yeah. So a bunch of hype guys running around like, oh my God, I can't believe they scored. It's like, it's been 88 minutes. There's one goal. This game is so boring. But the rest of the world likes it, so that's fine, and it's great that they do.
No, we can watch for 3
hours.
I hate
people in this country that fake that they're these huge fans, and they're not.
I think you underestimate the World Cup.
No, I think you're wrong.
I don't underestimate the World Cup. I know its value and importance. I know it's completely corrupt.
I think that soccer is looked down so much in this country that we have to be closeted about it.
No, they don't. Yeah, no, they don't have to be closeted about it, especially now. Cable companies offer international leagues on your cable package. That never happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
I went to the Red Bull game this past weekend. It wasn't even shown on TV. They don't. The cable companies, the people around you, they think soccer's not important. Soccer, it's important.
It's not. In this country, it's not.
I think you're wrong.
It's considered a children's activity that they do in school.
What, like pickleball? No, it's a much bigger sport than that.
I have no idea what pickleball is.
You have no idea what pickleball is?
Do we have any pickles back there, Giddles? I'm starving. What is pickleball?
Do you want the pickles from...
Did you say pickleball?
Yeah.
You want the pickles from the bodega
what the fuck is pickleball?
It's a combination of tennis and ping pong.
Fuck that.
It's like playing on a tennis court, except you play with the small paddles and the ping pong balls.
Giddles, if you want a quick pickle update...
terrible.
If you want a quick pickle update, how last week we talked about the pickle slushy at Sonic?
Yes.
KFC just released the pickle fried chicken. So there's pickle mixed into the fried chicken batter.
That's fine.
I'm going to get a bunch of those.
Don't deflect. The World Cup is the important.
I'm not deflecting. I was just adding that in since we mentioned pickles for no reason.
He was going for a corner kick there. He just missed. And then there was a flag on the play, a red flag, and now he's being ejected. He's holding his knee, he's crying.
Football Americana.
So get up to the mic. No one can hear you. So you're
a loud person.
You're stating that you're a football fan.
Yes.
All right.
Football.
You've watched it for many years.
Yes, I went to the 1994 World Cup when I was 4.
Do you watch it when World Cup season is not here with us?
Yes.
You do.
I watched the fact that Panama beat us into the World Cup and then lost 6-1 to England. It only embarrasses us even more.
How does it embarrass us?
embarrassing.
How does it embarrass us if we don't even know what's going on?
Because of the Panama Canal, man. Think
Why
about
don't
it.
you know what's going on? It's huge.
Because no one cares.
The ratings for this are huge in America. It's the most watched thing right now on television.
Not by Americans.
Yes, it is.
By imported Americans.
Look it up.
Imported Americans?
Yes.
Yeah, in the detention centers, that's fucking huge.
It is. They caused a minor earthquake when Mexico won. I saw
In
that
Mexico.
on the news. Yes.
That's not here.
Who's in the detention centers? Mexicans.
But God, I hate you.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just stating the fact of who's in those centers. And
But
they
the
got
earthquake
all,
happened in Mexico.
Yes, but they were Mexicans still. They got all excited that they won. I know it's a big deal everywhere but this country, and that's why I'm trying to defend the fact. It's not.
It is. It's just all you bougie people that think it's not.
No, I'm not even a sports fan. I don't give a shit about any sport.
That's why you don't know,
But I'm
Eric.
telling you, this one, I know for a fact, it might be growing, but for a fact, it's not that big a deal in this country.
It's the most watched thing on television in America right now.
Not by
I'm going to
not
Google
by
it.
Americans.
Is soccer a big deal? Hold on.
You do that.
Hey,
Giggles.
Siri?
Is soccer a big deal in USA?
Hey, Siri.
It says, of course it is, Iraq. See?
Oh, my Siri's not even answering me. She must be a Mexican fan. I don't know.
A Mexican fan. Oh, God. I hate you so much. It's the biggest thing in the world.
Not. It's such a waste of time. Waste
Go
of time.
England!
Waste of time. You're rooting for countries that you're not part of and have no affiliation with. If you said Holland, it would make sense because you have family there. You just went there, and you want to hop on a bandwagon. I get it.
No, first of all, in the World Cup, I would root for USA first because I am an American.
Right.
I have family in Holland. Yes, that's number 2. My great grandmother, who was till just recently with us, Italian, so always rooted for the Italians, and my other side of the family, they're all English. So all I got is England because the Italians didn't make it, the Dutch didn't make it. All my heritage, I'm ashamed of everything about me.
I'm
ashamed about everything about me.
Stretching it.
I hate myself.
I'm German-Irish. I don't give a crap what Germany and Ireland
You should be more embarrassed than anybody.
No,
Okay,
I don't
so
care.
I Googled, is soccer a big deal in the United States? And this is what I found. That apparently it is a big deal in the United States.
What?
And that the fact that the United States didn't make it to the World Cup is actually very bad for soccer in the United States because the more casual fans who only watch during the World Cup won't watch, and it's going to affect bars negatively. And that's what it says.
Because
you're
they're not
hurting the
real
economy.
fans.
You're hurting the economy, Iraq.
No, I'm not.
No, it's not. It's just that they're casual fans because they don't know that much about it, so they're trying to get back into it. And then when they're not in it, this is the first year since 1986 that we apparently have not been in it, they're afraid that people will lose interest, and that's basically what it comes down to.
You have
like,
to
would
have
you watch the
interest to
Olympics
lose
if
interest.
USA didn't qualify?
The what?
Would you watch the Olympics if USA didn't qualify for something?
They qualify for everything.
Yeah, but if they didn't,
Fuck off.
It's
like,
true.
let's just say, like, a hypothetical situation, the next Olympics, the United States didn't qualify for any sports. Would you watch it? And then, would you still consider yourself a fan of the Olympics?
I think I would check out the daily highlights instead of watching the actual events.
But you would still call yourself a fan of the Olympics.
Yes, I would.
But you're a fake fan because you're not watching it because the United States isn't in it.
He's running rings around me logically.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's using that brain of his.
No, I would have less interest if the United States wasn't in it. You are correct.
But it doesn't make you a fake fan.
But I wouldn't be going to bars and jumping up and going crazy like I would if my sports team that I loved all my life was playing and acting the same way.
You got to stop going.
But like,
those
what if
places.
you're just what if you have like a lot of foreign friends and you're there and you're just having a good time and you're cheering because like you don't know that the guy next to him is from England and maybe his cousin's in the game or some shit, you know what I mean? And like maybe you're just with your friends and you're having a good time. Does that make you a fake fan or just someone who's entertained?
All right, to use your logic, Giddles, I was at a bar that you said is a fake restaurant where the real fans are not at. So I know for a fact they're not real fans because I was at that particular establishment, not the bar that caters to England, that caters to Australia, that caters to whatever ethnicity they cater to for this particular event. I was at this place where I could spot and I knew that these douchebags were not fans and they were just going crazy, like they were overdoing it at the bar just because they're loudmouth, obnoxious Northeast people.
So, at the end of the day, what you're saying is you got to stop going to shitty places.
I like that.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
I like that place because there's not a lot of shit going on at that bar. All I know is other times, except for certain events, and I was like, well, I can't go here during the World Cup.
Well, you went there with Giddles, didn't take me there.
I didn't go with Giddles.
Yeah, you did.
That was not this particular time. We went there a long time ago.
I know, but we haven't been back.
I know. Come out here and I'll take you out. I'll take you too, Trevor.
I come here all the time. We never go out.
I know.
That sounds like an endeavor.
It is an endeavor.
Oh.
We can take Trevor on the Endeavor.
Ooh, the space shuttle endeavor.
Hashtag Trevs and Devs. It's taking off.
Damn it, it's at the end
A lot of women on social media love Trevs and Devs. They've been promoting it, and we didn't have to say anything. Trevor's been very outlandish with his disgust for that particular name and hashtag.
Just tagging it on things that have nothing to do with it.
It just seems to be girls that are antagonizing him, saying, we love Trevs and Devs.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a British soccer jersey, and the name on the back is just going to say Trevs and Devs, and people will just think it's an actual player.
All right, and if that gets into the World Cup, I will go to the bar and start cheering like crazy for Trevs and Devs.
It's not a real person.
That's how you get me in there. It's
then
not a
he
real
gets on the
sport
field,
either.
just trips, and you're like, oh, that's a real person.
All right. With that being said, we should wrap this thing up and get out of here for the week. Matt OG is not here, so follow him at Geek Stuff OG on across the board on social media. Giddles, what do you have?
Oh, plugs? I have a plug for a fan. I have a plug for a laptop.
Trevor, what do you have?
I got a plug
at
for the
BTG
stereo.
Trevor on the Twitter. BTG Rocks on Xbox Live.
Got these earplugs.
I'm thinking of changing my name on both of those to an actual nickname that I want, but I'm afraid you guys will ridicule me for it. So I will stay on the inside with that.
All right.
Go England!
Giddles, anything? No?
Yeah, Giddlebase on the Twitter, Instagram, and Xbox Live, and I'm going to try and play a little more Overwatch now, because there's a new hamster in a ball that rolls around as a mech tank, and I really want to play it, so I don't think it's been released yet, but I will be tiptoeing back into the Overwatch arena, especially now that they've fixed the toxicity problem on it by making it Black Mirror.
Oh yeah, and two more weeks left on the Fortnite season before the new season comes out.
Yeah, play with us.
I just sent a text message to one Mr. Shannon. You may want to reconsider Trevs and Devs instead of Mr. Wonderfrog.
Thank God he's on vacation.
So,
Mr. Wonderfrog?
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. For me, it's E-Rock Radio across the board on all the social media platforms.
Riveting.
But more important, the show. It's Erik Nagel across the board on the social media platforms. Besides from this show, the 4th anniversary program is up everywhere you can get our fine program, plus YouTube. You got this episode. Get the 4th anniversary episode. And if you want to dig back a little more, get Giddles and Trevs and Devs review of Gotti. That's up there as a bonus time material. As always, tell 2 friends so they can tell 2 friends, etc., etc. I think that's everything here, right?
So we're the E-Vengers?
Yes, we are the E-Vengers. We have a poster that's up on all our social media. You can check it out for the E-Vengers. For our 4th anniversary, we're getting posters made, so we're going to be able to give those out to the listening audience.
Soldier number 5. That's all I am.
You're the red shirt of the Marvel franchise.
Just because I called Thor the Aquaman of the Marvel series, and Matt will let me forget it.
Till the next time, everybody.
Be excellent to each other.
You're going to step up in Matt's shoes?
Only because you froze.
No, I was waiting to see who was going to take the line. Whatever.
Be excellent to each other.
Be seeing ya. Is that the line?
No, we'll be seeing you. Bye.
Be seeing ya. Is that the line?
Get your cats on the flip-flop later.
I hate you all.
Be seeing ya.
And that's how it ends.
Be seeing ya.
It's Erik Nagel. And that's all the time we have. Follow the show at It's Erik Nagel on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Unless we do something stupid or something better comes along.